Welcome to the fifth and final class of your online mindfulness course. This week we'll be focusing on compassion and loving kindness, as well as reflecting on your experience over the last several weeks, and also discussing ways to continue your practice going forward. So to begin this class, we'll start with a compassion and loving kindness meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable position, one that you can maintain for the next few minutes. A posture that supports you, keeps you alert, doesn't require too much effort or force to hold. A posture of ease and comfort for the next few moments. Now I invite you to close your eyes, or if you prefer, to keep them open and taking a soft gaze in front of you. And remembering that at any time you can open your eyes and adjust to your needs. The intention of this meditation is to practice bringing warmth and wishes of goodwill to other people and yourself. I encourage you to go slow and take your time. And now taking a moment to take a few deep, slow breaths, settling into your body and into this moment. And when you're ready, bringing to mind someone who naturally makes you smile. This could be a dear friend, perhaps a teacher, a beloved pet, any being that brings forth good feelings and warmth. And imagining being in this being's presence. Noticing what it's like to be around this being, and noticing what it feels like in your body to be around this being. And now recognizing that this person or being wishes to be free and happy from suffering, like you and everyone else. As you connect to this common humanity, seeing if you can now extend loving kindness phrases to this person or being. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy, and may you live with ease. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy, and may you live with ease. Offering each of these phrases to the person, taking your time and going slow. and also using any other phrases that are meaningful for you. Gently repeating the words and savoring the good company of this person. If you've noticed that your mind has wandered, this is okay. Notice the wandering and then gently guide your attention back to the focus of your phrases. And now expanding this goodwill to include yourself. Seeing what it might be like to bring yourself into these good intentions. If you like, you can place a hand over your heart as a gesture of a tentative care, extending goodwill towards both of you by repeating the phrases. May we be safe. May we be happy. May we be healthy. And may we live with ease. May we be safe. May we be happy. May we be healthy. And may we live with ease. Noticing what it is like to be included in this circle of goodwill. Feeling the good intentions behind your words. Again, you can change the words and adapt them to whatever resonates for you. Recognizing that the phrases are not expectations or goals or positive affirmations. Rather, the phrases are wishes of goodwill, where if this may be so. Gently repeating the phrases to both you and this being. And finally, taking a moment to notice what is happening in your body. If you'd like, you can bring your hand to your heart again as a gesture of goodwill. Now exploring what it might be like to offer yourself the phrases of loving kindness. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. And may I live with ease. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. And may I live with ease. Noticing whatever is arising as you gently repeat the phrases, feeling the intentions and warmth of these words and this gesture of loving kindness for just this moment. And now taking a few slow, deep breaths again. And quietly resting in your body. And opening your eyes when ready. We'll spend a few minutes reflecting on that meditation and experience for you, as well as reflecting on your home practice from this past week. So what are you noticing? What was it like to offer the loving kindness phrases to someone you care about? What was it like to bring yourself into the goodwill and offer both of you loving kindness phrases? What was it like to then offer yourself the phrases of goodwill? Did you notice any attitudes arising, judgment? Perhaps there was some curiosity or softness. How were you meeting that offering to yourself? And now transitioning into your home practice, what was it like to practice noticing the breath? What was it like this week to pay attention to your thoughts? And finally, did you have any insights about your stress response and your automatic thoughts and behaviors? Feel free to take your time reflecting on these questions and what you noticed for your home practice and this meditation. This week, our focus is on compassion and loving kindness. So as we discussed during the first class very briefly, compassion is the ability to be with others' suffering and our own suffering. Or perhaps another way to say it is to be with our difficult moments. Over the last 5 weeks, been encouraging you to open to whatever experience is arising for you in that moment. In that opening, you may be aware now that there are many neutral moments, but also some pleasant and unpleasant moments that may happen. So thus, in this opening that we've been practicing, this awareness, We may be becoming even more aware of the difficulties or suffering that we experience, particularly if we're experiencing chronic pain or being overwhelmed by stress or other illnesses related to our stress. As we practice opening and in this compassion to be with what is arising, we also start to recognize that in our humanness, there's a common humanity for other people to be experiencing suffering as well. We realize that others also understand what it means to go through difficult experiences. When we are experiencing chronic pain and stress, we may feel like we're the only one who's going through it. Again, like the pain cycle that we discussed, there can be even a sense of isolation. I'm the only one that understands this. I'm the only one that knows this. As we learn to open and to extend this compassion to others and to ourselves, we see that other people also know what it's like to go through difficult times as well. So the compassion component is not just now the awareness of what's happening, but if we are aware that we're going through a difficult moment or that we're suffering, can we be kind and gentle with ourselves, even if it's not a pleasant experience? So essentially what we're doing in these practices is turning up the warmth in our awareness. It's holding our experience with curiosity, but also care for what's happening and what's going on. This concept may seem very foreign to us, and there might actually be some resistance or even apprehension to extend compassion and care to ourselves. As we've been practicing this awareness, we may notice that there's actually a judgmental or critical side of us that is our automatic. Or perhaps even the judgment or the critical side comes up when we think about being kind to ourselves. However, as we've been starting to recognize when that judgment is there, if we're fighting the difficulty as opposed to practicing acceptance, we may be noticing that our pain and our sense of suffering is actually increasing through that resistance. Conversely, if we can practice compassion, which is to be curious, to care about what's going on, to notice it, to lean in towards it, just ever so slightly, we may notice that there's a shift in our pain and our level of suffering. It might still be there, and that's the paradox of practicing compassion and loving kindness, is that it's not to get rid of our pain or suffering, but to be with it and to be kind to ourselves, even if we're going through a difficult moment. So you may also be noticing that it's easier to extend this compassion and loving kindness to others than it is to ourselves. And this is very normal. This is why when we did that meditation, I actually have you start with someone you really care about, to notice those feelings, those good warmth, those intentions, and what that's like in the body. And then ever so slightly, we then fold you into this circle of goodwill. So again, I invite you to be really just observant and gentle with yourself, because sometimes when we begin the loving kindness practice, it may still be really difficult to offer ourselves that kindness. And if you're experiencing that, that's okay. That's actually a moment of compassion for yourself. Go slow and continue to focus on others, and then bringing yourself in ever so slowly as you move forward with the compassion piece. If you're also experiencing some challenges to be compassionate and caring towards yourself, one way that may help you reframe this or understand it better is to imagine if a good friend or someone you really care about was going through the experience that you are. And in those moments, think about, what would you say to this person? What tone of voice do you use? The tone of voice that we have, typically the way we speak to ourselves versus how we speak to others, is very different, especially if we're going through a really difficult time. So again, imagine if this was a dear friend, what would you say, the tone, and even thinking about our action. If someone we care about is having a hard time, we typically tend to lean in, to offer care and support. But when it comes to ourselves, we may actually push away, fight back, and want some distance. So in those moments, if you're noticing that you're suffering, that you're experiencing quite a bit of pain or stress, What would you say and how would you be with a dear friend who is going through the same thing in those moments? Our meditation today also had us using what's called loving kindness phrases, which are phrases of goodwill. Again, as it was mentioned in the meditation, it's not about a goal or a positive affirmation, something that has to happen, but they're general wishes of goodwill that if they may be so. One of the reasons we practice loving kindness phrases is this is another opportunity to practice concentration. This time it's using concentration through words, where we've been practicing our focus and awareness through perhaps the breath and the body. Now we can also practice concentration through repeating these phrases, these loving kindness phrases. I offered a few during the meditation, but please feel free to find phrases that are meaningful to you. Typically, we keep loving kindness phrases short and succinct, but when you say them, it really elicits a warmth and a good intention, feelings of goodwill in the body. And then, as you feel more comfortable, you can practice extending those phrases towards yourself, where you can actually move to a place of saying, may I. So as you move forward, you can start to use phrases in difficult moments as well. If you're experiencing quite a bit of pain or stress and you have some loving kindness phrases that are meaningful for you, see what happens if you take a few moments to perhaps focus on your breathing and then offer yourselves those loving kindness phrases. Perhaps see if anything shifts or changes, or at least if you're able to be with the suffering or the difficult moment in a kinder and gentler way. So over the last 5 weeks, you've been learning and exploring mindfulness through the body, emotions, sensations, thoughts, and now today, compassion and loving kindness. This is our final class together, and it's important moving forward to reflect on what your experiences have been like. And in this reflection, it may help to guide and refine your intentions going forward as you continue your practice. So I'm going to go through a series of questions with you, and again, you can choose to write these answers down in your notebook or journal, or just to sit quietly and reflect on them. So please close your eyes or keep them partially open. And let's take a few grounding breaths to orient to this moment and to this space. Or if you prefer, you can focus on a specific part of the body. Gently breathing in and breathing out. Noticing the sensations of breathing. Feeling your body and being fully here in this moment. And now, as I guide you through a series of questions to help you reflect on your experiences, opening to whatever answers arise. What would you like to remember? As you consider the last several weeks together, what would you like to remember? What surprised you during this course or your experiences? What surprised you? What challenged you? What exercises, meditations, or insights would you like to carry forward with you? What would you like to continue practicing after this class finishes. Now that you've reflected a bit about your experiences for the last few weeks, we'll spend a few minutes discussing the continuation of your practice. You've been practicing for the last 5 weeks and building various skills and perhaps even trying some new ways of being with your pain or stress. And like any new skill, to keep that skill, to continue nurturing it and growing it, continued practice is really important. Furthermore, if you've been creating maybe some healthier ways or noticing even some shifts and changes, to maintain that and to continue that healthier way of being, you need to continue doing your practice. You've already perhaps created a habit of doing the formal meditations and maybe some of the daily activities. It's also important to know what practices have resonated for you and which ones in the moment are resonating for you. Because if the pain comes up again, or stress, or any type of overwhelm related to your illness or the chronic pain, you can then lean into your mindfulness toolbox, as I call it. You can pull out the various practices, activities, etc. that you can use in the moment. However, it's just as important to continue practicing each day, or as often as you can, to sustain that skill. So although these practices may be very beneficial when we're going through a difficult moment, it's just as important to continue practicing them even when we're experiencing not so difficult moments as well. I'd like to spend a few minutes now discussing various tips and suggestions to help you sustain your practice once this course has finished. First, you may find it helpful to set a regular time to practice each day. Some people prefer the morning, some prefer the evening, or maybe even during a lunch hour. So play around and see maybe what times are most feasible for you. It also helps to set a regular time so that you can create the habit of practice each day. Additionally, it helps to practice through your everyday activities. And you've already been doing this with your mindfulness of a daily activity. So this is remembering that each moment is an opportunity to practice, where no matter what you're doing, you can pause and notice and pay attention to the attitude that you're bringing to your experience. In addition, you may want to learn more about mindfulness. If you search on the internet or go to your local bookstore, you will find that there's a lot of information about mindfulness and also a variety of books and topics related to mindfulness. You may also want to explore other meditations that are available online or through other CDs or teachers, and see if perhaps any of these resonate for you. Again, be curious and remember that each teacher brings a different style to the meditations. Also, please practice what you can. It's not the intention of this course or the meditations to beat yourself up with them if you're not doing them. Remember the 5-minute rule that we've talked about, to start and just see what happens for a few minutes. And what's important is your intention to the practice. So coming back to that intention, setting that intention to do the practice, to notice, to bring some awareness to the moment. And again, remembering that each moment is a chance to start again. And finally, perhaps giving yourself permission to be a slow learner, as you've heard me say frequently throughout the course, and to go gentle and easy with yourself. This is just the beginning of a journey of perhaps practicing new ways of being and new habits that are more skillful for you. and also remembering that practicing mindfulness and developing your awareness is a lifelong process. In closing, I would like to thank you for your participation in this 5-week online mindfulness course. I'd also like to take a moment of gratitude for your willingness to show up, to do the practices and to also try new ways of being. I wish you much compassion, care, and awareness as you continue forward. Thank you.